The next set of postures in Ashtanga Yoga standing postures is Prasarita Padottanasana A, B, C, and D. It's 4 forward folds from a wide leg stance, and it has built into the system very particular movements for moving into and out of each of these forward folds. And with those particular movements, we're either placing an inhale or an exhale. And I love this about the Ashtanga method, where we're told exactly where to place our attention, even as we move into the postures and move out of the postures, which is just as important as holding the space of a posture. So let's look at Prasarita Padottanasana A, the first one. We inhale, step the right foot back, feet parallel to each other, hands to the hips. Exhale, the hands come to the mat. Inhale, we don't really move, but we use this as a moment to lengthen and create space. Exhale, we move into the posture for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full rounds of breathing. And then inhale, we straighten the arms, lift the chest. Exhale, we don't move, fully exhale. And then inhale, we come all the way back up, hands to the hips. And then exhale, no movement, just settle. And then the next inhale takes us into Prasarita Padottanasana B. So let's look at each moment in a little bit more detail. So we're inhaling, exhale, hands to the mat. And we can come to the fingertips here, or if you can, you bring the palms completely flat. If you can't quite reach the fingertips, then you can also widen the stance to just get a little bit closer to the floor. And it's also here, while we're here, take a look at the feet. The feet should be either parallel to each other, or the heels a little bit wider than the toes. So you're pigeon-toed a little bit. And it'll just depend on sort of the makeup of your hips or your feet, what feels more accessible to you and what allows you to move deeper into the hips for the position of the feet. So play around with both. And then from here, we take a deep breath in and find length. It's sort of like our Trini moment in Prasarita Padottanasana. So same thing. We're rooting the feet down, pressing through the 4 corners, lifting the arches, lifting the kneecaps. You can micro-bend the knees here if that's useful. Drawing the lower belly in and slightly dropping the tailbone so that you can use that action to find the counter action of lengthening through the spine so it feels like the rib cage is moving away from the hips. So it's the same thing as your Trini moment. We're pausing before we move in to create space so that when we exhale, we can move into that space. But as you're moving in, continue creating the space. So continue rooting down through the feet, drawing the lower belly in, and reaching the rib cage away from the hips as you move in. And then when we take the posture, the crown of the head moves towards the floor. So if you're flexible, the elbows might be bending, and if the elbows are bending, you can walk the hands back. So if the elbows are bending, it's important to keep drawing the elbows in and moving the shoulders away from the ears. There's a tendency to let the elbows kind of splay out like that and let the wrists, the hands kind of lose contact with the floor. Try to get the palms flat, spread the fingers, draw the elbows in, shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, if you want to deepen it, you can press the hands down and forward to bring the torso back and through the legs. And that'll deepen into the hip creases. And so here, once you're here, you can feel into this internal form that requires you to find stability in order to release. So you need to find stability through the legs, pressing through the feet, engage the quads, and draw the lower belly in. Sometimes there's a tendency to push the lower belly out so that you're pushing your lower abs out to help you to force yourself deeper into the posture, but that's only going to get in your way. So at first it might feel counterintuitive, but you need to stop pushing in order to move deeper. And so the way I find that way of moving into it that isn't like a forcing into it, of like pushing your lower belly out and pushing yourself deeper, is engaging the legs and feeling this like hollowing happening through the front of the pelvis. So you really have to find that Uddiyana Bandha moment of drawing the lower belly in, and that will allow you to relax the front of the hips and release the front of the hip so that you can fold deeper into the hip creases. And then that is also coupled with relaxing the muscles along the spine so that you can fold deeper. It's a forward fold, it's a very deep forward fold, but all of the same principles of folding forward apply here, of relaxing the muscles along the spine, even along the neck. Okay, so once you're there, another little trick if you want to go a little bit deeper is you put the top of the head like around the hairline on the floor, and then you bring the chin towards the chest, and then to move deeper, you move the chin away from the chest. And that rolling on the top of the head will take you a little bit deeper. So I'm going to show you. You have the hands here, you're here, and actually, I'm sorry, I messed that up. So you're actually bringing the back of the head to the mat. I got confused standing up straight. So you bring the back of the head to the mat, bring the chin towards your chest, and then when you move the chin away from the chest, you move the top of the head to the mat. So you're rolling on the head, and that gesture gets you a little bit deeper. So let me show you. You're here on the back of the head. My ponytail is kind of in the way, so adjust hairstyles as necessary. The chin is on the floor, the chin is towards the chest, and then you move the chin away from the chest, rolling to the very center of the top of the head, and that takes you a little bit deeper. And so here you can see I can even walk my hands back a little bit more so that the elbows are at 90 degrees, and you're continue pressing gently the top of the head into the mat by moving the chin away from the chest. Okay, and then to come out of it, inhale, reverse the Trini moment. Exhale fully. And then inhale, come all the way up to the top. And then exhale, you have a moment to settle and maybe tune into the residue of that posture. All right, and then from here, we move into B.